Hi everyone, welcome. Welcome my loves. So this is Magda K, and if you are new to my channel, welcome so much. I'm super happy to have you here joining our family. And if you have been with us for a while, then welcome back. So lovely to see you again. So my name is Magda K. I am intimacy expert, tantra teacher, and a relationships coach. And in this channel, you can find so many videos on how to build the most passionate and healthy relationship, how to get that spark still going no matter how long you've been together, but also how to really go deeper into your own body, your own sexuality, release the traumas, release the shame so you can really enjoy the most fulfilling, intimate life. And today, we're going to answer the question whether you should give him another chance. So, I'm going to share with you four specific questions to ask yourself to know what to do. And look, I have been there. I'm pretty sure you've been there yourself. He messed up, he did something, and you're wondering, right? It's like, does it mean that it's really not meant to be? Like, okay, this is enough, this is too big, we're over, right? Or is it just an obstacle to move through? So, something that I find is very, very important is the skill to repair things, to move through conflict, right? It's like if something bad happens in the relationship, like exactly, do you run away? Do you give up? Or do you know how to talk about it? Do you know how to be vulnerable? Can you forgive? Because if you want to build long term relationships, there will be so many things that you will need to forgive for. But then there are also those situations when, the person you're dating keeps messing up, and it really is a sign that it's just not a good relationship for you. So how to know the difference? That's what this video is all about. Now, before we keep going and diving into everything, I just want to give you one information. So we have a construction going on in the next villa. I don't know if you guys can hear it. If you can, I hope it's not too disturbing. I had a choice to not do this YouTube live and wait, I don't know how many more weeks before they finish, but I decided, you know what? No, it doesn't matter. Let them do what they're doing, and we are going to do our thing. Okay, so we're still staying committed to our best intimate life and best relationships. But once again, if you can hear like the all of the rumor, my apologies for this. So okay, let's dive into this. So like I said, knowing the difference, whether this is the obstacle to move through, because it will, it's something you need to heal and repair so you guys can go into the next level, this deeper, even more intimate expression of your relationship. Or is it just a sign like it's just really not healthy, not good for me? So it's really the question between, does he deserve another chance, or do you deserve better? Okay, because the truth is that if he has done something, and like I said, I'll share with you these four questions which will help you understand, like if he did something and he will genuinely understand the mistake and he will want to correct it, then sure, I mean, you've probably messed up on your end as well, and you will mess up in the future. Again, that's the nature of relationships. But there may be some situations when he's just repeating the same mistake over and over again, or there's no progress, no learning, no change. And so then what you're doing by giving him another chance is setting yourself up for getting hurt the same way over and over again. So let's speak about it. So I just want to start by saying that there's one thing we often ignore, and it's the fact that to have a good relationship, you actually got to be qualified for the job. And oftentimes we choose partners because we're attracted to them, we have connection, but we don't actually check whether they are qualified for the job. And it's a little bit, like you wouldn't hire a student to be a CEO of a company, right? Like, you understand that a student needs to first go through different levels and learn certain skills before they are ready to take on this very important position. And we really need to start looking at dating, especially at a certain age. I'd say, like, when you're in your 20s, maybe you don't really care. But if you're in your 30s, if you want a committed long-term relationship or a family, it is super important to start really taking that position seriously. So I use this analogy. Some time ago, I was looking for a copywriter for one of my projects, and I had a choice. I could go for someone who didn't know much about copywriting, and then I would train them myself, or I needed to spend longer time, invest a little bit more in getting a copywriter with experience who knows how to write sales pages, and then get them on my project. And so if you think of it, I mean, both paths can work. However, if I get a copywriter who is not qualified for the job yet, they don't have the skills yet to be able to write the sales copy for me, what it means is that first I need to train them, I need to teach them. And while I am teaching them, we are not working on the launch. So it's the same here. If you get together with someone who doesn't yet have the skills to be in a healthy long-term relationship, you're not actually building a relationship yet. First, you're kind of training him, teaching him what he needs to know to be in a relationship, and then you start doing the relationship. So, like I said, I always repeat the same thing. Make sure that you both are qualified. There's certain skills you want to have to be able to be in a relationship, and that goes beyond loving each other and having connection. So let's get to it. The 4 questions to ask yourself to really know whether you should give him another chance or not. Now, the first 2 questions are kind of more about him in general, and then the other 2 are more specific to the thing that he did, to how he messed up. So question number 1 is, does he consider your needs valid? So this is really the foundation of a healthy relationship. There should never be any power struggle in a healthy long-term relationship. Okay, now we have different phases of a relationship, and there is a power struggle phase. But once you kind of like basically, if you are on purpose trying to have more power or to take over power from your partner, like that behavior, there's no space for such behavior in relationships if you want a happy and healthy relationship. So it's absolutely fundamental that the needs of both people are considered equal. They're equally important. If any one of you starts kind of fighting the other person, right? It's like, oh, my needs are more important, or putting the needs of the other person down, not acknowledging them, this is a recipe for disaster. And again, this falls into one of those skills that makes someone qualified for a relationship, because it's not a natural thing for us to be so like mindful of the fact that the other person has their needs and they may be opposite to ours, and then how can we look for the compromise? Now, to answer this question, whether he considers your needs valid or not, there's actually something you need to do first, and this is to communicate your needs. So I will often see in clients that I work with, it's like, oh, he or she like doesn't consider my needs. But then the question is, have you actually clearly communicated those needs? And oftentimes the answer is no. So if I am not communicating my needs to my partner, I cannot expect them to meet those needs because they may not be aware of what those needs are. I cannot be expecting my partner to read my mind. As much as I'd like that maybe to happen, that's just not the reality. So first thing first is that you need to communicate your needs and do it in a clear, non-attacking way. Okay, that's the premise. Now, when you do that, then you can ask yourself, does he take my needs into consideration? Does he consider them valid? Okay, so you may discover that actually, you know what, the thing that he did, this big messing up, was about him disrespecting my needs, right? And maybe it's been the pattern the whole relationship, or most of the times he doesn't seem to actually value the needs that I have. I communicate it and it doesn't mean anything, right? So the thing is, if that's the behavior that he is showing, this is really a huge red flag, okay? Again, if he is not able to give priority to your needs, to treat them as valid, and if there is discrepancy between his needs and yours, like if he's unable to look for compromise, then this is a huge red flag that says that basically this relationship is a ticking bomb, and most likely you want to let him go. But if he does consider your needs valid and he is making an effort to meet them, then go to question number 2. And this question is, does his actions align with his words? So, what's the history of dating this guy? Like, is he someone that when he says that he will do something, does he do it or does he not? If he makes a promise, does he keep this promise? Now, this is huge. The integrity between what a person says and what they do is absolutely fundamental. Now, this is something you want to observe in him, not just towards you, but also towards other people and how he treats himself. So, if he makes a promise to himself, does he keep the promise? Okay, this is basically in a way like checking his character. Like what's his character? Is he in integrity or not? Is he reliable? Is he solid? Is he trustworthy? Because we've all seen men and women, but we've all seen, people who make these huge claims and they promise they will change and they tell you like, yes, you're right, I see it, oh, what I did wasn't right, I'm never gonna do it again. But apart from words, is there anything else that happens afterwards? As in, is there a changed behavior? Because words mean nothing. So if you notice that he may say the right things, but his actions don't follow, what it actually is a manipulation technique. So he knows he did something bad, he pissed you off, he messed up, and of course that triggers fears in him. Like no one likes arguing, no one likes upsetting other people, especially if you're someone close to him, right? So he feels this discomfort, the fear, the anxiety in his body, and he's looking for ways to diminish this discomfort inside of him, right? So if he says all the right things, what he's actually doing is trying to eliminate the internal feeling of guilt and like he did something bad. But it's not to actually change. So again, if his words do not align with his actions, better let it go. If it does, then proceed to question number 3. And now this is where we go specifically into the situation, whatever is that happened, that you're kind of thinking like, okay, do I forgive him? Do I give him another chance after doing that or not? So for that specific situation, the question number 3 is, does he understand why he did it? This is massive, massive, my loves. See, everything we do in life, we do it to meet our needs. Everything. Even me recording this video for you, it meets a series of needs for me. You watching this video, you are meeting some of your needs. Everything you do is there to meet some of your needs. Now, most of us are unaware of what these needs are, and this is the problem. Because if you don't understand why you do something, right, you won't be able to change that behavior. So let's say that I do this video because I'm looking for validation, right? Now, if I don't understand that that's what I'm doing, then I will make these videos all about me because it's for my validation, right? Now, if I am aware that, oh, wow, I'm looking for validation, then I can think like, well, look, I really wouldn't want my business to be all about just validating my ego. Can I validate myself through other more supportive ways so that my business and these videos can be more focused on contribution and actually giving value and building my business, right? But if I am not aware that I may be trying to validate myself through doing these videos, then I will never be able to change it. I will never be able to show up in a different way. So whatever it is that he did, no matter how much he messed up, there was a certain need inside of him, right? And needs can never be ignored. When we have needs, we're going to find a way to meet them, healthy or unhealthy, but we're going to find a way always. So what happens with the human mind is that it looks for the most available solution, the most available way to meet the need, not for the most harmonious or healthy, but for the most available, right? And usually these are things we picked up as kids, different manipulation techniques. So whatever it is that he did this because it met some of his needs. Now, if that behavior really didn't land well with you, you do not want it to happen again. You want to make sure that this is not repeated. Then he has to understand, and there's no way around it. He must understand what need he was meeting. And only when he knows what need it was, or multiple needs, then he can look at, okay, what can be some other ways that will not sabotage this relationship, that will not hurt you, that can meet his needs. Okay, like just kind of like a maybe more general example that I really see a lot is people who cheat, and they say, for example, like, oh, well, I cheated because my partner like wasn't there for me, something like this. But the truth is that what the person was looking for was validation, and really the first step should be going to your partner and saying, listen, I don't feel seen, I don't feel really validated in the relationship, and I find myself like looking to other people for the validation. I'd love for us to discuss specific ways how I can meet this need within the relationship, because I care about you, I want to be with you, and I want to make sure that our relationship stays strong and solid. Right? But in most cases, people are not aware of what this need is. Then they end up blaming the partner, and they do something that really sabotages the whole relationship. So he must understand why he did it. If he doesn't understand why he did it, he is going to repeat the same behavior. Okay, whatever that need was, he will feel this need again in the future. That's how needs work. And again, his mind will go towards the most available solution, which is going to be the one he just did now, right? Because like it worked in the past, like he has experience with that specific way. So if you really want his behavior to change, he must understand why he did that. And if he does understand why, that takes me to the last question, number 4. Has he taken action to change this? So if it's just an apology but without a change behavior, it really doesn't mean anything. The truth of a person is not what they say. What they say shows who they want to be. Their actions show who they actually are. If this is like something interesting for you, go and check out my channel. I think last week I did a video about, or maybe 2 weeks ago, why we date a potential. Because this is the thing. If you are dating someone because they say that they want to change, you're dating potential. You're not dating the actual person. The actual person is the behavior you see on a consistent basis, right? Now, I mentioned this already in this video. So what happens is that if you're in a relationship and he does something to upset you, that triggers the fears that you can leave. Right? So the fear of rejection, of abandonment, of not being good enough, not being worthy, not being deserving of love. So of course he doesn't want to feel that. It's natural for him to engage different strategies to ease that discomfort and to win you back, right? But if he simply says the right things without taking action, what he's doing only is trying to diminish his guilt over what he did. But he's not actually trying to change. And this is super, super important. I want you to think of when you have a child and the child did something that like got his mom angry, right? The child doesn't feel good when his mom is angry at him or her. So what does a child do? Like a child gets like, no, mommy, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, right? They go all cute. And then fine, the mom is like, it's okay, come here. She kisses the child, embraces the child. And then mommy walks away and the child goes back to doing whatever they were doing before, right? It was a full-on manipulation. We know kids are great manipulators. And the same strategies that we learn as kids, we take them into adulthood, right? Because we have inner children inside of us. And when triggered, those behaviors come up. So now you have to understand that something that children always do is they try to test how far they can go. Okay, what can they get away with? So if your partner did something, then he was like, I'm so sorry, I don't know why this happened, I must be so weak, like looking, basically, like it's really actually playing a victim, by the way. It's really like self-victimization in this case. But he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so weak, like basically trying to get your pity, to forgive him, to bring back your love, acceptance, to bring back the feeling of security and safety for him, right? So when you do this, what he is learning, he doesn't need to change his behavior because he did something. You get upset. Then he was all cute and nice and said all the right things. You took him back. So he's learning. Oh, okay. Well, that's a good strategy. I can do what I want because then, as long as I'm cute, I'm loving, I say whatever she wants to hear, I'll be back. So you have to be mindful. There is a huge difference between him saying, I'm sorry, him saying, I want to change, and actually taking action. So I'll give you an example. Let's say, if we stick to this cheating, because I know this happens to so many people, it happened to me. So let's say your partner cheats, right? And he comes back and he says, I'm so sorry, I slept with someone last month, I didn't know how to tell you, I'm a horrible human being, I don't deserve you, right? So he's like kind of like playing a victim. He's pulling sympathy from you so you forgive him, right? Here's what he should do. Listen, I cheated on you last month and I felt horrible about it. I didn't know why I did it this time, but all I knew is that I really fucked up. So I sat with this and I really wanted to understand why I did this to you. And I understood that I did this because I had a very strong need for validation, which I understood it comes from my childhood because my father never approved of me. And I do not want that story, that pattern to sabotage me. So I sign up for the retreat for men and I'm going to go next month and I'm going to work on it because I do not ever want to do it again. I'm so sorry I hurt you. If you can forgive me, I will do what it takes. I will do all the work that's needed to make sure this doesn't happen again. And I am starting next month. Now you see what's happening here? He's taking full responsibility for his behavior and he's taking action. He's recognizing what he did. He has done already the work, understanding why, and he's taking the steps to change this. Like, you have to understand, change is not easy. I mean, how many times have you tried to change a pattern and you failed? You were not able to? Because change is difficult. So if your inner child, if your subconscious mind can find a way around it without needing to change, yeah, they'll do it. So you got to look for the signs that he is actually making an effort to change, because you need him to change. Okay, so you got to separate, is this the inner child acting out and trying to manipulate you emotionally so you take him back and he doesn't have to change? Or is it the adult him that is ready to show up in a different way? Okay, super, super important. So this is about, yeah, he fucked up. Is he willing to take the accountability, right? Like, you forgive him, you can forgive him and take him back and give him another chance, but he still needs to be kept accountable. And if he's not able to deal with the consequence of his actions, that shows that he is not mature enough to be in a relationship. Now, look, I know this is not easy. I've been there myself, seeing the behavior and kind of like knowing, okay, he's just saying things, he's not changing. So knowing this, of course, doesn't mean that, oh, it's easy as that to say, hey, it's over and I don't think it's healthy for me, so I would rather we split. This may be messy. This may take some time. This may, mean you'll stumble a few times. But it's really important to really evaluate this, because so many of us, and maybe that's been your case as well, we have wasted so much time on people who really don't deserve your energy. Like, every relationship teaches us something. And even if it was a really bad, even toxic relationship, you're still getting lessons and value. But there is a difference between getting your lessons and then staying unnecessarily longer in a relationship that's just hurting you, right? Like, you don't need to keep getting hurt. you get your lessons, take them, learn, and move on to something better that will actually honor and respect you. So I hope that you found this helpful. And again, if you're in this situation, if he did something and you're not sure how to move on, ask yourself these 4 questions. And I just do want to say that, these situations are difficult. So also have some compassion for you. Remember, we're all dealing with a lot of pain, a lot of fears. And some of us, may move through these challenges in a more gracious way, others not so much. So, a lot of this is really, really not about you. And so, my loves, if you would like more tips on relationships, then make sure to subscribe to this channel. I would love to have you with us. We have over 19,000 people, and we have more than 100 videos already here on relationships, on sexuality, all of the aspects of building the most magical, intimate life. So I would love for you to join our family by subscribing. And also, if you like this video, please like it and share it with anyone that you feel may really benefit from this. I would really, really appreciate it. And darling, also something I wanted to share, sometimes I know that making these decisions is just not easy and we need support. So if you would like my support in your relationship with whatever it is that you're dealing right now, we can talk more. So I offer 1 hour free consultation. You can find the link below in the description where you can apply for this free conversation with me. And we're just going to chat about where your relationship or your intimate life is, where you want it to be, and how we can come together and how I can support you in getting where you truly desire to be. So you're going to find the links to this. It's magdak.com/apply. You're going to find the link to this in the description of this video. And again, also check out actually everything there, because I have some free resources, some free masterclasses and PDFs, and also exclusive groups for men and women on Facebook if you want to go deeper. And I would say one last thing, make sure to follow me on Instagram, because I've been really on the go recently, like posting so much amazing content that gets reshared by hundreds of people. So this is also a great way just to stay connected with me on a daily basis. So again, my beauties, thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. Have a beautiful day, and wishing you the most magical relationships ever. Bye.